Labour bring back Angela Rayner? Get your calls in for this one now. Less than a month ago, the former Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary resigned from her roles after admitting that she didn't pay enough tax on a property purchase. Now, Wes Streeting, the Health Secretary, has used his party conference to call for her return to the front benches of Parliament. Take a listen to this.
And there's someone else who's made a real difference too, who understands the struggle care workers face because she was one. She brought that experience to the cabinet table as the care worker who became our country's Deputy Prime Minister. Angela Rayner, this achievement is yours. Thank you. And we want her back as well.
Sir Keir Starmer's also hinted that he'd like to have her back in an interview with LBC's Nick Ferrari.
I said when Ange stepped down that she had been a major voice in the Labour movement and that she would be a major voice for many years to come. I was personally very sad to see her go, Nick. She made a mistake, she's paid a heavy price.
Indeed.
And I've always thought that she will be a major voice again in the Labour movement.
Okay.
She is still a Labour MP, but do you think she should be brought back into government? And that's the question we're asking now. Nelufar, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I think it's a great decision if she chooses to step back in, because I don't think if Angela Rayner could wave a magic wand and solve all of Britain's problems tomorrow, she'd still be hated by the media. She'd still be lambasted. She'd still be attacked for whatever it is, wearing shorts, speaking too loudly, being a woman, whatever it might be. She's never going to be loved by the media.
Why do you think the press dislike her so much?
I think it's a combination of things. I think that it sort of triggers within the press media specifically uncomfort or discomfort in the way she conducts herself. I remember very distinctly a few months ago when she was out, I think it was at Pride, wearing shorts at a party, and that was 2 days worth of news media coverage. And it wasn't because she supported LGBTQIA rights, it wasn't because she was the Deputy Prime Minister, it was because she was wearing shorts. And I would say it's up to the Labour Party and it's up to her whether she wants to come back. But I would wonder how she feels about coming back into the same environment she left.
Russ, I'm really interested to hear your point of view, but just before I go, are you suggesting that the reason she stepped back is essentially because she's a woman?
No. I'm suggesting that she will step back into the fray of politics, where for her specifically, there seems to be, unquestionably, a tinge of misogyny or a tinge of discomfort in the way that the news media represent or talk about her.
OK, Russ, what's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, Neville, what you're saying may or may not be true, but from my perspective, these Labour politicians like the Prime Minister and Wes Streeting, they're tone deaf. This is a woman who held high office, who did not do the correct things taxation-wise with CGT. It was proved by the Prime Minister's Ethics Committee investigation that this was the case. I'm not saying it was deliberate, but it happened. And when you're in a position like that, you have to do everything absolutely by the book, irrespective what you may or may not be doing there for that. And what Wes Streeting said, I'm sure, about care workers, that is a good thing. But you cannot expect to be at that high level of government, man or woman, if you make that mistake.
Are you saying that she should never step back into the frontline politics?
Well, I think there's got to be quite a lot of contrition, really, not only from her, but also from the Prime Minister and the Labour government. People are not stupid. She went and resigned for a reason. It's a bit like if you're in a football team and you get a red card early in the second half, that all your teammates go 5 minutes ago, excuse me, referee's coming back on.
But it has happened before. I mean, Mandelson, not a good example at the moment.
Well, no, it isn't
has
a good
to say
example.
That story did not end well.
But he was invited. There's a couple of really good. Keith Vaz comes to mind as somebody within the Labour Party who had a scandalous, clearly illegal charges laid against him for which he was forced to step back. Look, if we started to say to politicians any misconduct or any acts where it's seen unfavourably or you've done something that might have been improper, you'd lose half of the Tory party.
Well, maybe you
and
would,
I think it's really important. I think it's important. I think redemption and the ability to come back to learn from your mistakes has to be part of anybody's story, right?
But I think the nub of the matter, apart from what I said, frankly, is this government. I've enjoyed the Reform Party conference, by the way, I have to say. This government need to fix this country that has so many problems and stop worrying about whether they're going to bring back a Deputy Prime Minister who fell foul of the taxation system. Stop talking about that and wasting time. Policies, how are you going to fix it?
Do you feel the same way about the Reform Party doing similar things?
Well, they're not in government. They're not in government.
Okay,
so
right.
It really doesn't matter.
But
the
point is the same. Yes, they are, and they must be held to a high standard
Yes, well,
with that.
At the moment,
no one's arguing that. What we're saying is, has she got the ability to learn from her mistakes that weren't illegal but may have been improper, and can she be expected to never make those mistakes again?
OK, let's go to the calls. Janice from Essex, what's your view on this?
Oh, hiya. Firstly, I don't want to be bashed as a woman. This would be the same if it was a man. We've watched so many Conservative politicians being booted out for wrongdoing. But they did, at least, before they brought them back, a decent amount of time before they brought them back, when the dust had settled.
What would be a decent amount of time,
She's
Janice?
not really even that good at her job.
I think a lot of people might disagree with you, and she's incredibly popular with certainly certain sectors of the Labour Party. And what Wes Streeting said got a standing ovation. I don't know whether it was a standing ovation, but certainly a lot of applause. Janice, how long would be long enough before you bring Angela Rayner back?
I'm not sure, really. No, I'm not saying she was terrible and everything. I'm not. But we have seen her go out on certain rallies, and maybe that wasn't a good place to be. She has been out partying when she says she's a working girl. Now, I get all that, but the problem is you can't just all of a sudden bring someone back within 5 minutes and she's going to get attacked. So for her sake, I would let the dust settle.
Janice, that's a really interesting point. What do you say to that, Nelufar? That actually it would be bad for the party, it would be bad for Angela if they brought her back too soon.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, how long would you wait, Nelufar?
She has to face the consequences of what she herself agrees she's done, Janice. She agrees. She holds her hands up and says, yeah, I did do something improper here. That's not really what the question is. And I take your point, and I do agree with you that a certain amount of time needs to lapse. But if the Prime Minister and the Health Secretary are both saying she's an asset, she's part of the team, she knows how to make this work, she's part of what we want to present to the country as our offering, we should listen to them.
Are they reading the room, which is really Russ's accusation?
He did, though. Wes Streeting did read the room.
Yeah, he read the room in front of them, but there was cameras
We're talking
in the
about
wider
the country.
room.
Yeah, well,
room in Liverpool.
No, fair enough. I get that. But if she is deemed to be useful enough for her colleagues, that should be taken into account.
I think Janice has a point, Storm, that even if she was to come back, there has to be quite a period of time.
What would that be? Months, years?
Oh, certainly over a year.
Oh, wow.
Wow. OK. Janice, thank you very much for your call. Margaret from Birmingham, how do you feel about Angela Rayner's potential return?
Well, I feel that surely she was also given the sack for telling lies. Did we want another government minister in the cabinet to carry on telling lies? When someone's lied on such a
Margaret, I'm not sure.
Subject.
I'm not sure. I hear the argument that you're making. I'm just going to pick up a detail. I'm not sure telling lies is the way we would describe it. It's potentially just a mistake, an error. And actually, she didn't break any rules.
She didn't break any rules. She didn't look into she's in a position to have so many lawyers around her.
Yeah, she was advised to get more advice and she didn't take it, and she breached the ministerial code. Yeah. But I don't know if lying would be inappropriate. Russ, would you describe it as lying?
I do not think that she lied, and I think Margaret probably would accept that. I mean, even I do, and I'm not a greatest fan. I'm not a biggest enemy.
But there is a misjudgment
She
there.
fell foul of the system that she didn't know enough about and didn't get legal advice
And so
in the
she
correct
shouldn't
way.
hold office for a year.
Okay, but Margaret, so
Well, you're Deputy Prime Minister.
with that in mind, that it isn't a lie, it's a misjudgment, and
She's incapable to be a government operative, then, is she? They're not there to make misjudgments. They're there to make vital decisions for the country and find out what they're saying before they say it or do it.
do you not think it's good when people make mistakes, though, Margaret? They put their hands in the air, they take their punishment,
But she
and then they come
didn't at
back?
first, did she, Storm? She didn't at first. And there was no reason that she couldn't have got the proper legal advice before she did what she did.
We all make mistakes.
None whatsoever.
What would you say to that, Nelufar?
Margaret, honestly, we all make mistakes, and I take your point. She has to be held to a higher standard. There are other people, other politicians within the Reform Party, within the Conservative Party, all parties that make mistakes. And it isn't a question of if she should come back, but when, and to help the country in what way.
But how has she helped it now by doing what she did?
Again,
there's people that she was over with when she had, what was she, Minister of Housing or something like that. Well, who helps those people? Who gives them a second chance?
yeah, I get you, but again, she's made a mistake, and we all do. I'm sure you have, and people have forgiven or looked past it or
Margaret's
moved on
not
with
in
it.
politics, though, I'm presuming. She's certainly not the deputy leader of the Labour Party.
Nor is Angela Rayner.
I'm not saying I'm not leading millions of people.
Yeah.
That their lives, their livelihood, all their lifestyle out of houses that she creates. Or not, I don't mean she's created that, but she was there to help them. And as such, in her position, she should have had enough knowledge before she did that.
Margaret, thank you very much for your call. Steve from Edinburgh, what's your view on this?
Oh, Storm, it's great to see you back again. You're looking well.
Thank you. What's your thoughts on Angela?
I think they should definitely bring her back. She was voted in the Labour Party by the membership overwhelmingly. And I think she should definitely
Steve,
come back.
how would it look to the general population if she is seen to do something wrong, something that she's seen appropriate to step down from her roles, to just all of a sudden be whisked back into frontline politics? Do you think the public are ready to see her back?
Surely the public would acknowledge, or I should perhaps remind the public, she referred herself to the appropriate committee, stepped down almost immediately afterwards. She actually referred herself. I don't recollect any of the Tory party that when they were in government. In fact, quite the opposite was Prime Minister Johnson. They used to try and protect the cabinet members as long as they could, and they would reluctantly leave.
Russ, you were shaking your head there.
Well, I don't agree with Steve at all, obviously, and he'll know that because of what I've said on the show already. I don't think we can harp back in history to other politicians. We're talking about the here and now, and this has been sorted out. The only thing I would say about Angela Rayner is she's not a pariah, but she's certainly not Superwoman like Wes Streeting and Keir Starmer like to indicate that she is. She isn't.
OK. Steve, thank you for your call. Rob from Cumbria, what's your view on this?
Hello. I've got a view that she's found to have breached the ministerial code. Yeah. So she shouldn't be coming back, in my opinion. I'm not for this MPs leaving government and then coming back in. I don't think it suits anyone. You just get a roundabout of same people in and out, you know what I mean? But I would say to the gentleman on the panel, you can't overlook, we shouldn't overlook the fact that it was a long time we didn't have an ethics advisor under the last couple of governments. And it's not whataboutery, but I think this Labour government has to look squeaky clean, cleaner than clean. But I've got an idea. I don't know why Wes Streeting, but I've got an idea why Anne Starmer seemed to be supportive of Angela Rayner. Now, is it because Starmer's position's weakened and is looking for to the left, or well, what's left of the left of the Labour Party for support, or is Streeting canvassing for any leadership coming up, and that's why he's trying to support Angela to try and get what's left
Rob,
of the Labour Party?
All of these theories are going to come up over the next couple of days, and we heard some of them on the panel. Actually, they were very interesting. Thank you very much for your call. Just want to squeeze in one more call. John from South Devon, what's your thoughts on Angela Rayner's potential return?
I think she should be allowed to come back.
Okay.
You're talking about a working lass who's fought her way to the top of the government, and she's made a mistake. Maybe she didn't understand all the rules, but at least she's admitted to it. A lot more than I can say about a lot of the Tory party.
Russ?
Well, the only thing I would say is, yeah, she did admit to it, but only after media intrusion and media digging that the full story came out.
Would it be fair, though, to say that there's a potential that Angela Rayner didn't know that she hadn't paid as much as she should have?
She may well not have known.
So she didn't know she was denying it?
Not taking the advice that she was given, Storm, I think became the issue for her.
All right. John, thank you so much for your call. Thanks for all your calls on that. It was pretty split, actually. Don't forget, later we're going to be asking whether cash is king. Do you always...